Locked On Podcast Network presents Locked On Sports Today.
The Sweet 16 is upon us, and the weekend slate is absolutely loaded. Also, baseball is back, and the Yankees are already off to a hot start after clobbering the Giants in their season opener. And the Eagles just can't trade A.J. Brown. I'm Peter Bukowski, starting your day with the can't-miss stories and biggest debates in sports. You're Locked On Sports Today.
Searching all major sports. Found.
Let's start with the biggest story.
Today's episode brought to you by FanDuel. During the tournament, FanDuel is offering $300 back in bonus bets every day for 10 days. Head to FanDuel.com to get started. The Sweet 16 is going to be straight heat with some incredible matchups on deck in the East and Midwest regions. Locked On College Basketball hosts Andy Patton and Isaac Shade previewed both regions on Amazon Fire TV's Bracket Breakdown show.
Well, we promised you last week that we would keep you updated on how each of our brackets fared. We showed you each of our predictions. Before we tell you about our Elite Eight predictions, I just wanted to show the standings real quickly. Jesse, how's it going down there, little buddy?
No, Jesse, it's golf. You're winning. You're good, man. It's all good. Don't worry about it.
But on the positive side, something that you said to me is it's how you finish, not how you start.
That's right.
And with the scoring in NCAA tournament brackets, it really matters if your Final Four are alive. Are your Final Four still alive?
My Final Four is still alive.
So there you go.
I'm still rocking and rolling, baby.
You're
still rocking and rolling.
You're still doing pretty well. Now let's talk a little bit more about our Elite Eight predictions from these two regions that we just dived into, starting with the East. Duke, St. John's, Michigan State, UConn, then rolling into the Midwest. Gordon, what are your picks?
All right, I'm rolling with the Johnnies, of course. I got Patino's going to get the boys going.
Shocker.
Yeah, Patino will have them going. They're going to overwhelm Duke. So I've got St. John's just because I want to see St. John's and UConn for fourth time this year, which would be nuts. I got UConn beating Michigan State. And then we got over there Michigan versus Bama. I'm actually going to take Bama in this one. I'm fading Michigan here. 10.5 point spread is, I think, what we discussed.
We're going to take this out to the parking lot. I think we're at that point in working together the last few weeks.
That's a bold pick, but I'm going to roll with they're going to hit some threes. I think they're going to rain some threes. I'm going Bama. And then we got Iowa State is going to take down Tennessee. I think Iowa State is going to ultimately make it to the Final Four.
All right, Jesse.
All right, for me, I went to North Carolina.
All right, so moving on.
but a little bit,
not an option.
A little interesting fact. Duke has never won a national championship without beating St. John's. Every time they won a national championship,
Seriously?
They had to beat St. John's, a St. John's team on the way there. It won't happen this week. I'm taking the Johnnies. I'm taking the Johnnies over the Duke Blue Devils. UConn, Michigan State. I'm going with UConn. I think UConn, it just has too much on the inside. The physicalness will be there. They'll be able to control it in the half court. They'll be able to slow the game down when it matters the most, especially late in the game in the second half. You saw Caravan play really big in his last game. I think he continues that. Heading out to the Michigan-Bama game. Well, sometimes you got to go with the ladies. I'm going with you, Kai. All right, I'm sticking on the Michigan bandwagon.
The smart one who happens to be leading the bracket scoring.
I'm sticking on that one right there. And then Iowa State, Tennessee. Despite the injuries to the Iowa State team, I'm still going to pick Iowa State to continue on their journey and win this game.
All right. Are you going with the Red Storm or are you going with Blue
back
Devils?
to the I had.
Is there a noise that a Red Storm or a Blue Devil makes? We were talking about this the other day. Some of these teams are not.
But paint it red. You know what I'm saying? I don't know.
These teams are good for the animal. I'm upset about that.
What's funny is I had Kansas knocking off Duke in this round, but really for me it was about I thought either Kansas or St. John's would do it. I love the Rick Pitino pressure we were talking about. Those 17 turnovers Gordon talked about earlier. Backup point guard coming. I love Caden Boozer. I think he's a better point guard than Caleb Foster. Still too much in this moment. Give me the Johnnies. I have Michigan State as my Final Four pick out of this bracket. I'm sticking with it. With apologies to our great director of content, Allie Bronson, who's a big UConn fan. Give me Michigan State. Sparty rolling here. And then moving over to the Midwest, Michigan. I just think that size, the reliability of standing 2 feet away from the basket and doing this over and over again can trump Nate Oates' three-point barrage. And then Iowa State. Despite the Joshua Jefferson injury, I'm rolling with the Cyclones to get it done. Momcilovic, 5 of 7 from 3. He's going to be the MVP.
Ali, make sure that his flight has 7 different locations before 7 different stops before it gets back to his destination.
Seriously, I like that. All right, my picks, starting with the East region, Duke beats St. John's. I was the only one out of all of us, I think, that picked Duke to go to the Final Four. I keep saying, did you guys watch this team in the ACC Tournament Championship? And I don't feel as good about that based on what we saw from the Blue Devils in the first 2 rounds, but I had to ride with what I had in my bracket.
But if they beat St. John's, you should feel really good.
Then you should
feel really good.
Okay, so there we go. It's going to really come down to the Sweet 16 matchup. Michigan State takes down UConn. That is what I am rolling with. I think that the Spartans are just too good in terms of the defensive rebounding. I think they're going to be able to get out and run on UConn. A really good UConn defense. Can they get out in transition is going to be the key, but I'm feeling good about Sparty. Rolling on to the Midwest region, I have number 2 Iowa State moving on. Despite the injury to Jefferson, they continue to roll. I feel good about them moving on to the Elite 8. And then top-seeded Michigan takes down Alabama. This is a Wolverines team that is deep. They are versatile. They are athletic. They are going to be too much to handle for a Crimson Tide offense that is way too one-dimensional in relying on the 3-ball. Those are my picks. Andy, Pat, who do you got heading to the Elite 8 out of these 2 brackets?
Well, Gordon, you and I had the exact same teams in the South and West region. We have the exact opposite teams here in the East and the West. I'm not sure what that means.
Incredible. 3 is more than 2.
I am rolling with Duke here over St. John's. Again, I don't feel as good about this as I did earlier on with Duke struggling a little bit, but the Boozers never lose. Like, these guys are winners. They've been winners forever. I think betting against them just feels wrong with how successful they have been. And then I'm going with Michigan State. Michigan State is my Final Four pick out of this region. Again, I think Cohen Carr is going to be a huge X factor in this game. I also think that front court is going to be a problem for UConn, even with Terrace Reed getting 27 boards in their first round game. And then I'm going with Michigan, sticking with the 2 Michigan schools. I got the Wolverines advancing here. Alabama's 3-point shooting is a little scary. I think that 15 number feels about right for them, but I think Michigan's good enough defensively to slow them down and get the win here. And then I got Tennessee. I got the upset here. The Vols, again, Iowa State maybe didn't look like that injury affected them in that game against Kentucky, but I think that Joshua Jefferson, if he's not playing here, it's going to be a problem with Nate Ament, Jacoby Gillespie, and then the talent that he brings and the experience. I think I'm going to roll with the Vols here.
Stay up to date all year on college hoops by subscribing to Locked On College Basketball on your favorite podcast app. You're Locked On Sports today. Coming up, the Yankees started their season with a bang. Before we get to that, one candidate has already removed himself from North Carolina's coaching search. The tournament is already ripping, and this is one of the best times of the year. Brackets, buzzer beaters, upsets. It's nonstop action from tip to final, cut down. And right now, FanDuel is giving new customers a way to stay in the tournament all tournament long. You're in the action, baby. Here's the best part. You get $300 back in bonus bets every day for 10 days. That means 10 chances to stay involved throughout the entire tournament. You can mix it however you want. Game picks, futures, same game parlays for bigger potential payouts. It's perfect for the tournament because every day there's something new. Different matchups, new storylines, and more ways to get involved as the bracket unfolds. So visit FanDuel.com to sign up today. That's FanDuel.com to get in on the action. No shocker here, Brad Stevens has already removed himself from UNC's coaching search.
The North Carolina coaching search list has already shrunk by 1. Boston Celtics president of basketball operations Brad Stevens has reportedly removed himself from consideration, according to CBS Sports' Matt Norlander. Look, it was always going to be a pipe dream to go land Brad Stevens, but you have to make the call, right? He's not going to leave a cushy GM job to come to the rigor of Division I men's head coaching, right? Also, it sounds like from a family standpoint, there's just some things that's like, hey, it's not the right time for us as a family. So, as expected, Brad Stevens is not going to be a candidate. So glad that it's like something you try for. But we carry on. Many more names to sift through. More to come. Peace.
The Thunder fought with the Celtics in a potential NBA Finals preview.
Great game between the Celtics and the Thunder. Celtics fell behind early. Tough first quarter for Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum. They were both awesome after that. Both flirted with a triple-double. Baylor Scheierman was great off the bench. One constant for the Celtics when they win games like this is, are they getting things off the bench? Baylor did produce on both ends. Peyton Pritchard was hitting shots, especially late. And are they offensive rebounding? A 19-2 edge in second chance points for the Celtics was huge. And then in the fourth quarter, Jaylen Brown gave SGA a bit of his own medicine, drawing 3 quick fouls, putting OKC in the penalty, and really preventing them from coming back. Celtics were able to hold them off by getting free throws and closing this out. It was a little dicey to close it out. The Celtics had a few turnovers, but they were able to hold on, got some stops. The rebounding was great. So a huge, huge win for the Celtics. Cannot stress enough how important this win was after a tough loss to Minnesota and not looking great against Memphis and some questions coming up about how everything fits. This was a great statement for the Celtics to make, and I'll be talking about it on the Locked On Celtics podcast.
And the NBA is officially inching closer to expansion. The league's board of governors unanimously approved moving forward with exploring new teams in Las Vegas and Seattle with a target start date of the 2028-2029 season. A formal bidding process is expected to bring in massive offers, somewhere in the $7 to $10 billion range per franchise. Billion with a B. Commissioner Adam Silver called it the next step in what many around the league see as a matter of when, not if. Seattle hasn't had a team since the Supersonics left in 2008, while Las Vegas has quickly become a major sports hub. If this goes through, the NBA would go to 32 teams, and the map of the league could look different very soon. Baseball is back, and the Bronx Bombers started it in a way befitting their name, a 7-0 rout of the San Francisco Giants, though Aaron Judge 0 for 5 with 4 strikeouts. First time that's happened since 2024. So Stacey Gitsoulias from Locked On Yankees joins me now. And you're worried about Aaron Judge already. We got to start there. No, we're not going to start there. It's okay. It's okay. This is about as good a way as you could start for the Yankees outside of Aaron Judge, no?
Exactly, because what's the story with the Yankees? As Aaron Judge goes, the Yankees go. And if he doesn't have a good year, the Yankees don't have a good year. And what did this game prove? That if Aaron Judge goes 0 for 5 with 4 strikeouts, the bottom of the order can still score runs.
And of course, that is going to be a question for the Yankees all season. This is just one game. We also have talked a lot over the last couple of years, Stacey, you and I, and you on Locked On Yankees, about the pitching on this team. How do you feel about this staff, this bullpen, especially going into 2026?
I feel pretty good about it, actually. You know, I know people are a little worried because Rodon's not back, Cole's not back, but once those guys come back, that's a formidable top 3. And those top 3 should help the bullpen because the bullpen won't be needed as much, hopefully, if those 3 do their job, because that was the problem in 2025, where you had pitchers who weren't pitching deep into games and the bullpen was gassed by August. So hopefully the first part of 2026 will be a little better for the bullpen. Plus you lost some guys who didn't do well either and replaced them with other guys. So we'll see how it goes.
Any concern early in the season about, like an Aaron Judge post World Baseball Classic hangover, the extra exertion factor, anything like that? No. I feel like could be the being in his hometown and wanting to do better, but not, you know what I mean? When guys feel the pressure of wanting to show off in front of the hometown crowd and it's opening nights, the first game on Netflix, they've never done a game before and you really want to show off. And then, he's swinging at pitches that he normally wouldn't swing at. Was it the first strikeout, the inside pitch that nearly hit him? Aaron Judge doesn't swing at pitches like that. That was not Aaron Judge. What is your biggest concern with this Yankees team right now?
Health. Spring training went way too well. Nothing bad happened. And I don't like that because that's not a normal thing for the Yankees. So I can't help but be pessimistic because I've been this way my whole life. I'm just waiting for the other shoe to drop because spring training was too good. Other teams had people get injured and the Yankees for some reason didn't at all. So that's what I'm worried about.
Yes, Stacey, Yankees fans have had nothing to cheer about for the last 30 years. We're so sorry. Where do you see the Yankees in the AL hierarchy right now?
I would say they're one of the better teams in the AL. I know people underestimate them. They say they ran it back. They're coming back with basically the same squad, but there are some differences. Plus, not having Garrett Cole last year didn't really. They won 94 games 2 seasons in a row, and that was even without Garrett Cole last season. So I don't know.
It did feel, though, I mean, after the season Aaron Judge had in 2024, I mean, obviously outrageous, and as this team coalesces a little bit, I think there was a hope that last year they would take a step forward,
right?
And they did not do that,
right?
If they're going to do that this year, is health the biggest reason why, or is there something else?
Yes, it's health. Rodon has to come back and pitch strong. Cole has to come back, pitch strong. And then that puts less pressure on the other guys, because you have guys like Cam Schlittler in his second full year. You have Will Warren in his second or third full year. Those guys don't feel as much pressure if they're pushed down to the end of the rotation. When you give those younger guys bigger responsibility and, oh, you're the 2 now, it's not as good. So if Rodon and Cole can come back healthy, if the guys in the lineup can come back healthy, if some of the guys who didn't hit as well last year hit better, and the sky's the limit, really. I think people are underestimating the Yankees. I think they can actually do better than everyone's predicting them to do.
Stay up to date all year on the New York Yankees by subscribing to Locked On Yankees on your favorite podcast app. Coming up, the Eagles shouldn't trade away A.J. Brown. What if sports were traded like markets? Now you can put your sports IQ to work in real time with Robinhood prediction markets. It's not you against the house. It's you participating in a live market. You can buy or sell your positions live all game long. Use your sports knowledge in the moments that matter. Robinhood prediction markets changes the game. It's people moving the action. So when momentum shifts, you can move with it. I always knew the game, but never had a dynamic way to apply that knowledge. Now I can actually take part live in a market powered by people. You're no longer just a spectator. Play-by-play, you decide. Trade every play with Robinhood, now available across the U.S. Download the Robinhood app to begin. Futures and cleared swaps trades involve significant risk and is not appropriate for everyone. Event contracts are offered by Robinhood Derivatives, LLC, a registered future commissioned merchant and swap firm. While the Eagles are mulling over trading star receiver A.J. Brown, Locked On NFL host Tyler Rowland and Michelle Majuk believe while Brown has his downsides, he's still a dominant force, and losing him, even for a nice return in a trade, would severely hurt the Eagles' chances of getting back to the big game.
Now, the question becomes, do you think that he could carry the load as a true number 1 wide receiver and get to that JSN level if A.J. Brown is traded?
I do think so. I think Devonta Smith is a very, very good wide receiver. And we've seen when they need to use him as a top guy when there's injuries, he can step up and he can do it. Mm-hmm. Now, I get the worry about having to pay him, right, if that happens, but you're already paying A.J. Brown a lot, so you'd remove that. And I will say the $25 million that he just got in 2024, right, that was 10% of the cap space that season in 2024 is $25 million, because it was $255 million cap space in 2024. That's already gone up to $301 million now. So let's say he balls out like JSN, which would be amazing, right? Like you wouldn't be upset about that. Just say a little bit less than that. He gets $40 million a year, or maybe whatever. I'm going to put him at $40 million a year. That would put him at 12.5% of the cap space next year if it keeps increasing like it has been. So it really wouldn't be that crazy of a jump. And I mean, I don't think anyone should be upset if you have to give Devonta Smith a 2% more of your cap space if he ends up having a JSN type season.
Right. If he has a JSN season as the number 1 wide receiver, I'm happy to pay him whatever I have to pay him there. One thing that does kind of make me wonder, it seems like the rumor mill and all that, you could find sources out there to say that A.J. Brown's going to be traded after the 1st of June because of the money, and it's a done deal. They just have to wait because of the financial aspect. The one thing that does give me pause on that is the Eagles did just bring in Elijah Moore, and Elijah Moore and A.J. Brown truly are best friends. Like
A.J. Brown cried when he got drafted because he said Elijah Moore is going to be better than anything's ever. I loved Elijah Moore coming out of school. Loved. And that A.J. Brown video made me so confident in him, especially for fantasy, and he's let me down. So I have some hard feelings against Elijah Moore.
I could see that. I could tell that, and I understand that, but
hard feelings against A.J. Brown too, because he tricked me into it too, even further.
It is true. The Eagles are better with A.J. Brown than without him. But it just seems fait accompli that he's going to be gone. He does not want to be there. He does not want to play in this offense with Jalen Hurts. And doesn't matter the amount of money he's being paid. We know he is willing to be a problem. We know he is willing to be disruptive. We know he's willing to pout and quit on routes and not give full effort. And so maybe it does make sense to just say, you know what, it's actually addition by subtraction to not have that on the team, to not feel like you have to force feed him targets in a given game. You can just go call your game. On the field, on paper, are the Eagles better with A.J. Brown? Yes. Are they, though, overall? I do think you can make the argument that they're not. Now, if they can't trade him until June 1, you can't really get anything of value this year unless it's a player-for-player swap, and that's probably not going to happen. So that makes this all tricky. How bad is A.J. Brown willing to make this for the Eagles? That will decide ultimately if they have to move on this offseason. And finally, Luka Doncic is on an all-time heater, and it's happening everywhere but home. He's the first player to average 40 points over a 6-game road stretch since Michael Jordan in 1986. And it's not just empty numbers, it's complete dominance. Doncic is averaging over 38 points across his last 10 games total. Dropped a 60-piece recently and has multiple 40 and even 50-point explosions during this run. This season, he's already leading the league at over 32 points per game, but right now he's operating on a completely different level. Road games, hostile environments, doesn't matter. Luka's turning every arena into his own show. And when your name is being mentioned alongside Michael Jordan in anything, it's history knocking. Coming up, the Sweet 16 tips off today and tomorrow. So at least until tomorrow, stay locked on sports today.
Locked On Podcast Network presents Locked On Sports Today.